The first rule of serving as a human guard on an alien royal vessel was simple: do not draw attention. Standing out was dangerous. Being noticed by someone powerful was worse. Unfortunately for me, I broke both rules the moment Queen Serelith of the Avaroon Imperium stepped onto the command deck and locked eyes with me. She froze. Not metaphorically. Not politely. Completely. The music of her arrival faltered. Advisors stopped speaking mid-sentence. The tall, crystalline guards lining the hall stiffened, unsure whether to draw weapons or kneel. For a terrifying half-second, the entire bridge of the Imperial flagship Star of Dominion seemed to hold its breath. And all I had done was stand there. My name is Daniel Reyes, former Terran Marine, currently assigned as part of the Terran or Avaroon Security Exchange Program. On paper, my job was ceremonial: stand still, look intimidating, reassure the Queen that humans took her safety seriously. I had not been briefed on what to do if the alien monarch stared at me like she'd seen a ghost. Queen Serelith was legendary across 3 sectors. A ruler forged in war, bonded to the Avaroon throne through conquest and bloodline. Her people were tall, elegant, and luminous, their skin like living pearl, their eyes glowing with biolight that shifted color with emotion. Right now, her eyes burned a sharp, frozen blue. "Your Majesty," one of her aides ventured carefully. She did not respond. Instead, she took a single, unsteady step toward me. I felt every survival instinct I had screaming. Do not move. Do not speak. Do not reach for the sidearm you're not supposed to use unless the galaxy ends. Her gaze traced my face slowly, painfully, my eyes, my jawline, the scar above my brow. Her breathing changed, becoming shallow and irregular. Then she whispered something in Avaroon. The translator lagged, then rendered it softly in my earpiece. Kale. The name meant nothing to me, but it meant everything to her. The Queen straightened abruptly, composure slamming back into place like armor. She turned away from me as if burned. "Clear the deck," she said sharply. "All but the human guard." Gasps rippled outward. My stomach dropped. Moments later, the massive doors sealed shut, leaving me alone with the most powerful being in the Imperium. She stood with her back to me, shoulders rigid. "What is your name, human?" "Daniel Reyes, Your Majesty," I answered, voice steady through sheer force of discipline. She nodded once. "Turn off your helmet." I hesitated only a fraction of a second before complying. When I looked up again, she was facing me and her eyes had changed. They were no longer cold. They were wounded. "You resemble someone I once knew," she said quietly. "I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I assure you, we've never met." "I know," she replied. "And yet." She gestured, and a hologram bloomed between us. A male Avaroon appeared, tall, regal, wearing ceremonial armor. His face was different from mine in detail, but the structure was unmistakably similar. The same eyes. The same set of the mouth. Even the same scar, though his ran across his cheek rather than his brow. My breath caught despite myself. "That was my consort," Queen Serelith said. "My husband. Kale Thryn." Her voice tightened. Before the war, the Avaroon Imperium had nearly torn itself apart decades ago in a brutal civil conflict. I knew the history. Everyone did. "What happened to him?" I asked carefully. Her biolight dimmed to a soft violet, the color of grief, according to briefings. He believed peace was possible, she said. I believed strength was the only language the galaxy understood. She looked directly at me. We were both right. And both wrong. Caelthuen had opposed her assent. Not with weapons, but with words. He had argued for alliances instead of domination, restraint instead of annihilation. When rebellion erupted, he had tried to negotiate. The rebels executed him for being the Queen's consort. The Queen never forgave herself for sending him to parley alone. You look at me the way he did, she said suddenly. I blinked. With respect. With disappointment, she corrected. As if you expect more of me. That was dangerous territory. Speaking truth to power always was. I'm a guard, not a diplomat, I said. But humans, we've lost people to wars that didn't need to happen. When I look at leaders, I don't see gods. I see responsibility. Her eyes flared. Then she laughed once, sharp and incredulous. Even now, she said, you echo him. Days passed, and I remained assigned to her personal security detail. The court whispered. Advisors objected. Some demanded my removal. The Queen overruled them all. She began asking me questions. About Earth. About why humans fought so fiercely for ideals they often failed to live up to. About why we kept trying again after catastrophe. One night, as stars streamed past the viewport, she spoke without looking at me. Cale believed the Imperium could change, she said. That strength and mercy were not opposites. And do you? I asked. She was silent for a long time. I ruled through fear, she said finally. And the galaxy obeyed. But when I saw you, I realized I had built everything he warned me against. I met her gaze. It's not too late. For redemption, she asked softly. For choice, I replied. The turning point came during the Council of Subjugated Worlds. A dozen client species gathered, expecting the usual decrees and demands. Instead, Queen Serelith stood and announced reforms: autonomy, shared governance, an end to expansion wars. Outrage exploded. An assassin struck from the upper tier, plasma blade aimed for her spine. I moved without thinking. The blade pierced my side instead. Pain flared, but I stayed standing. The hall erupted into chaos. Guards swarmed. The assassin was neutralized. Queen Serelith caught me as my legs finally failed. She pressed her glowing hand to my wound, biolight flaring bright gold. Do not die, she commanded, voice trembling. Not you. I smiled weakly. Guess I finally stood out, huh? She lowered her forehead to mine, an Avaroon gesture of deep trust. You are not him, she whispered. But you reminded me of who I was meant to be. I survived. Human medicine and Avaroon biotech are a powerful combination. The reforms passed. History would record Queen Serelith as the ruler who transformed an empire not through conquest, but restraint. As for me, my assignment ended quietly. On my last day, she met me alone. The Imperium owes humanity a debt, she said. And I owe you clarity. She placed a small crystalline token in my hand, a royal sigil. Wherever you go, she said, you will be under my protection. I saluted not as a guard, but as an equal. As my ship departed, I looked back at the vast imperial vessel and thought about something she had once said. That seeing a human face had brought an alien queen to a standstill. Not because it reminded her of what she lost, but because it reminded her of what she could still become. And that, I realized, was humanity's quiet strength. We didn't conquer the stars. Sometimes, we simply reflected them until even queens were forced to look at themselves.